Hey everybody, welcome back to yet another edition of Bold Predictions here at Inside Nebraska. With me as always is Steve Mark and Tim Verghese. I'm Zack Carpenter, where we get rolling. Encourage you guys to like this video, subscribe to the Inside Nebraska YouTube channel, get all these videos dropped directly into your feed, including Nebraska Football Show with these two gentlemen and Recruiting Blitz with Tim, and Black Shirt Breakdown with Steve and former Husker Jay Foreman, and all of our press conference videos, post game coverage, and all sorts of those type of things, volleyball as well. Um, Fellas, it's our last bold predictions episode. Wait, no, it's not. Sources are telling me. I just looked at the data. Nebraska's in a bowl game. This is our second to last bold predictions of the season. How is that, fellas? How's that, Steve? What do you think about that?
Is that called the penultimate? Am I pronouncing that right? I don't know.
Penultimate. That's some people's favorite word. Penultimate, second to
Yeah,
last.
second to last. Yeah, it's a what a monkey to get off the back, right? For all the
Gorilla.
losing that this program has done over the years to finally, you know, snap that streak and go bowling. That's got to mean to a lot of people inside of the program, especially the players who, had put up with a lot of stuff and a lot of losing, and that can't be easy. So good for those guys.
Yeah, Tim, when did you graduate from UNL? What class were you?
2021.
Okay, so were you in school? Did you ever experience a bowl game when you were in school?
No, no, no. Yeah, because
So,
my first year was Scott Frost's first year.
okay, so that's what I was thinking. I don't know if you've noticed you're a little younger and like you went to school. Me and Steve didn't. Like, have you noticed like from the ground level, like the pressure like valve being released like more than us? Like, how much are you noticing it?
It feels like, yeah, I mean, it feels like a pressure valve. I mean, you talk to like fans around the program. You talk to like, I mean, talking to recruits that like in and around the region that grew up watching the program and have grown up watching the program. Like, there's like 2026 and 2027 targets that like don't remember a Nebraska bowl game. They were like 7 or 8 the last time Nebraska made a bowl game. So they don't even remember what that feels like, what that looks like. And so yeah, it feels like, again, like the team overall, the program overall, it feels like everyone kind of just breathed like a collective sigh of relief, and here we are, with like an opportunity ahead where for the first time in a couple of years now, you're entering this Iowa game where there's not a whole lot of pressure on like, hey, win and continue your season or anything like that. Like they can kind of go out and just play.
Yeah, and that was something. I mean, first off, yeah, the recruits you say don't recognize the Nebraska bowl game until now. Like, used to be the recruiting pitch was Nebraska was the Alabama of the '90s. Like that's far gone. A bowl game for goodness sakes was far gone for a while, but now it's different. And now we're potentially entering a new era. But that's something your point, something going into the Indiana game, and we talked about this on Rapid Recap yesterday. Like sitting at 5-1, and I had been saying on a couple podcasts, like if they just get that, I just felt like if they get past that precipice, they just get that sixth win. Like everybody's talked about just the mental anguish of this team ever since the Scott Frost regime, and how that could just lift a lift a massive weight off their shoulders, and they just go, like you said, just go play. So that's what I'm most excited and most intrigued to see in this Iowa game is, okay, they're able to just play loose, play football, like not be overthinking absolutely everything because there's not that at stake. I know it's a bowl game. It's the simplest of achievements that a college football team can accomplish, but nothing has been simple around here for a long time. So I'm not making fun of the achievement. I'm not downplaying it at all. I think it should be celebrated as it has been. It was worthy of a field rushing, field storming, especially coming against Wisconsin after a 10-game losing streak. So celebrate it like you made a Super Bowl appearance. I'm not kidding, because it's a big deal, um, obviously around here. But Steve, we get right into it. I wanted to ask. I'll bring it up in my bold prediction, so I'll skip what I was going to ask for now. But just getting right into it. Going to we're going to Iowa City. 6:30 p.m. Central kickoff at Kinnick Stadium. We got who we got on call? Paul Burmeister and everyone's favorite Colt McCoy as a
Mm.
color analyst. So it's on NBC and on Peacock on Black Friday. Nebraska's -5.5, I believe. Over under is 39.5 as we're recording this. But Steve, what we got? BP. Let's go.
Yeah, bold prediction. My bold prediction for this one is John Bullock is going to lead the defense with 13 tackles. I don't know if that's bold or not, but it's what I'm going. So, just thinking about this game and what Iowa is dealing with right now at the quarterback situation with all the uncertainty there. Sounds like they're going to be starting Jackson Stratton, which was he's from California. He's originally going to go to Washington, but didn't work out there. So he found a landing spot at Colorado State, was a quarterback over there. Spent 2 years, I believe. Didn't work out again. So Iowa picks him up. And at one point this season, he was a scout team linebacker. So that's what Iowa's working with at quarterback. But you know what? He's started the past 2 games, I believe, and he's just been not totally terrible out there, but it's just like, come on, it's Iowa. They're with the quarterback situation that they have, they're going to lean on the run. They're going to lean on some guy named Caleb Johnson, one of the best running backs in the country. His backup Kamari Moulton's pretty good too, kid from Florida. So Iowa's going to want to run the ball just like they always do in this one. It's going to be a toss-up game for me. So I think John Bullock is going to be a busy guy right in the middle of that defense, and I think he's going to be meeting Caleb Johnson in the hole quite a bit. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities for tackles. So I'm going with John Bullock, 13 tackles.
Hey man, Nebraska started a tight end at quarterback last year for 8 games.
Yeah.
But that would be 13 tackles would be clearly a career high in a single game for John Bullock. His previous career high, 2 games with nine apiece against Northern Iowa and Illinois. Jackson Stratton, you've seen Wolf of Wall Street, right, Tim? Stratton Oakmont.
Stratton Oakmont.
Yeah, that's immediately what I was thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
I knew you had seen it, Steve. We're all three movie guys here, which is something I love. Something low key that we should probably talk about more. But Stratton Oakmont, that's immediately what I thought of. But yeah, Tim, Steve mentioned the Caleb Johnson and stopping him. It just seems like you know exactly what I was going to do. They're going to run, try to break one, and try to grind it out and eventually break one. So it's so important to fill your gaps, stay on your keys, not play outside of the system on defense. If you're Nebraska, right? It's all about staying disciplined.
Yeah, we were talking about it on the Nebraska football show this week. With this team, with the different, like this is the game plan somewhat similar to Wisconsin, just in the sense that you just have to this is the game where you sell out against the run and you basically have to force Jackson Stratton to beat you, just like last week. Nebraska had to kind of force Braden Locke to beat him with his arm. And if Nebraska can do that, they put themselves in a good position because unlike Wisconsin, Iowa doesn't have the pass catching unit, especially with Vanderzee out. They don't have the pass catching unit that can beat you one on one the way Wisconsin's did and can. So I'm interested to see kind of what we see from Tony White's unit, and Zach, you and I have talked about this pretty much every week. Is you can kind of tell how he's feeling based on how he approaches that Tuesday press conference, and he was loose again on Tuesday. So I think he understands kind of what was facing ahead. Like they don't try to hide anything. Iowa's not a team that's going to do a whole lot of trickery or anything crazy. They just have one of the best running backs in the country, and they're just going to run it down your throat. You have to stop them. So yeah, it's about playing gap assignment football and sound football essentially. And again, basically forcing Iowa into a position where they have to lean on Jackson Stratton and his arm to beat you.
Yeah, that's funny that you mentioned that because we didn't talk about it yesterday at the press conference, but I think Jansen did. Jansen Coburn, our digital producer, when Tony White came in, hyped up and like excited and everything, he like mouthed and motioned something to me about them going like something about being Iowa because you could tell the good vibes. But you and I didn't even talk about that, Tim, but we both noticed it. It's like, okay, he sees something on tape that he likes. Maybe we're totally wrong about that, but it feels like each time that he has that mindset, like something's going to go well for the defense on Saturday. So, did you give a bold prediction, Tim?
I did not. Not
I was
that.
running.
Not
I was
not
running
in that
some numbers
conversation.
in the calculator up here. So I didn't even notice if you did. What's your bold prediction, Tim? Let's go.
Yeah, so on that note, I think this is a game where I mean Nebraska's been able to score like in the second half they were able to score on I think every single drive besides the last one. And I think they're going to have some offensive success again on Saturday. This is a game where you have to dominate time of possession. On that point of forcing Jackson Stratton to beat you, I think there's going to be a couple opportunities where Nebraska's going to be able to pin their ears back, get their pass rushers in action, and chase Stratton down. I've got with Iowa missing Gennings Dunker, their starting right tackle. He's unlikely to play this game. Kirk Ferentz updated his status and said it's unlikely he's going to be able to go for Friday, but he should be good for the bowl game. But with them missing, their right tackle for the second game in a row, I think this is a game where James Williams has a nice day. I have him coming down with 2 sacks and 5+ pressures. I don't know how many opportunities he's going to get to actually pin his ears back and get after the quarterback. But I think he's one that's going to be able to tee off against a backup right tackle.
He played JUCO ball at Iowa Western,
Central.
Iowa. My bad, folks out there. Iowa Central, so that'd be a nice poetic game for him. Which leads perfectly into my bold prediction because I've got one that would be poetic as well. Get to that in a second. I was running some numbers on Dylan Raiola and his performance over the past not just 2 games, but the past 2.5 games, really, ever since he threw the pick six against UCLA, right? So, including the pick six, in that UCLA game, he was 3 for 11, 27.2% completion percentage, 3 for 11 for 47 yards and 1 interception on the pick six. Ever since then, he's been balling out. He's looked a lot more like the Dylan Raiola that we know. He's looked a lot more like he is as a player. He's looked looser. He's been, instead of trying to aim it, instead of he's not overthinking things or holding on to the ball too long. He's looking a lot more like the version that we saw over the first 4 games, and really the first, I call, like I said, 5.5 games up until that second half against Rutgers, where it seems like he sort of hit a wall. Since that pick, the pick six, he is 66 for 92, 71.7% completion percentage for 614 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. When one of them was the end of game Hail Mary situation against USC, where his receiver was getting absolutely robbed at knife point, just held a very, very obvious defensive pass interference. So that accounts for one of the interceptions. If you average that out, that would be 26, uh, uh, rounding down or up, 26 for 37, 70.1% completion percentage, 246 yards, and roughly 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So that's the final stat line I'm going with for Dylan Raiola on Friday against Iowa. 246 yards, touchdown, 70% completion percentage again. Yeah, we'll throw a pick in there. Iowa has a good defense. But my bold prediction, that 1 touchdown, that's going to go to one Mr. Thomas Fedoni. That's right. A former Iowa high school player who was very much wanted by Iowa on the recruiting trail, and now you see the rivalry coming up on Twitter. I'm sure you guys have seen it, of Iowa fans chirping Thomas Fedoni because he for any and all mistakes that he makes. It doesn't matter if he has a 20-yard catch that he toe taps and moves the chains. There's going to be something that Iowa fans are critical of, but that's ball, baby. That's a rivalry. I love it. So the UCLA game, I had my bold prediction was Fedoni to go 6 catches for 9 yards and like 70 some, or 6 catches on 9 targets for 70 some yards and a touchdown. He had 4 catches on 8 targets for not that many yards, for 6 yards and no touchdowns. On this day, on Friday, Fedoni's going to have 1 catch on 1 target for 4 yards and a touchdown. It's going to come on that Mahomes to Travis Kelce type play that they've run 2 or 3 times. Usually, I think it's been Janiron Bonner as the target. Saw that last week against Wisconsin on the Bonner fumble. They're going to get down in there. It's going to be a second or third and goal. And they're going to do that little shovel pass into the middle where Fedoni comes across and boom, he gets his, and that's going to be the um, uplifting moment on Friday after Fedoni was he had just 3 snaps against Wisconsin after the false start on Nebraska's only 3 and out of the entire game. Saw Nate Borkature and Luke Lindenmeyer get in there for the rest of the game. So that's been a narrative this week of okay, Fedoni's out, Fedoni's out. I think he comes back in, sees a lot more playing time, but that's going to be his only catch on his only target, goes for a score, big time Fedoni.
Yeah, it's I think Thomas is going to play too. Just listening to Dana Holgerson and how he was talking about the tight end room. Nate Borkature and Luke Lindemeyer have always kind of been good, well-rounded tight ends that maybe excel as run blockers more than receivers, but they both can do some stuff in the pass game too. But yeah, with Thomas, I definitely think that Thomas is going to play. Dana said that him getting benched like he did kind of created a fire, created motivation for Thomas, and he went out and had a couple of his best practices since Dana had been there. So that's going on about 3 weeks now. So yeah, I definitely think that we're going to see some Thomas Fedoni. So I like that pick.
Went out and had a great practice on Tuesday. Tim, any final thoughts, or not final thoughts, but any extra thoughts before we run around with score predictions?
I wouldn't be surprised to see more Fedoni on Saturday or on Friday. I think this is a game that is a little personal for him, and would be a nice way for him to kind of cap off his regular season. And I think he's had a up and down kind of year. And yeah, at the end of the day, injuries aside and all of that, he's a kid you root for. He's put in a lot of work with the program and given a lot, and dealt with a lot in his time on campus. So he's a guy that I think you're always rooting for and hoping he can break through and reach that form that he showed in high school.
Yeah, I keep hesitating when I say what day the game's on because I keep trying to say Saturday reflexively. But Black Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central. Again, Steve, bringing around for final score predictions. Nebraska is 5.5 point underdog. I think I said favorite earlier. 5.5 point. The spread must have changed as we're sitting here. Hold on. Let me get it up. Wow. Yeah. When we started recording, Nebraska was Iowa was a 5.5 point favorite. Now it's -4. Over under still the same, 39.5. So the line moved a 1.5 while we were sitting here recording. Does that affect your prediction? What you got?
I have Nebraska winning this one score game. I think this is going to be a toss up. I have Nebraska winning 24-17. Yeah, I just think that they're going to get the job done in limiting Iowa's rush offense. And if you can do that, the primary pass catchers right now for Jackson Stratton are going to be his 3 tight ends. Especially on third down, he looks for those big guys. Luke Lachey is a very, very talented guy. And the 2 others are very capable as well. But that just doesn't really scream explosive to me. And I think Nebraska's defense is going to hunker down and get the job done. So Nebraska 24, Iowa 17 in what's going to be a really cold night in Iowa City. I think the high is expected to be like 25 degrees. So I guess we'll see what the conditions are like out there when the sun goes down.
I like it. Yeah, I'm similar. I have a 27-14, and that's not with a missed PAT. That's 2 field goals from John Hull, who's been automatic as of late. And listening to the Brian Buschini and the guys in the special teams room kind of talk about him right now. They think he has a future NFL kicker right there. Like they think no, now that he's found his groove, he's built some confidence that he's working with a lot of confidence right now, and he can be kind of somewhat automatic. So I'm expecting, I think Nebraska's going to have an opportunity to score across the 50-yard line and also have an opportunity to kind of own time of possession here, because this is a game where, you can kind of hold on to the football. You kind of know what Iowa wants to do offensively. They have some injuries on the defensive side of the ball. They're dealing with, some obviously injuries across the team as well. I think Nebraska gets over the hump and puts Iowa away in their on Iowa's home campus.
Yeah, for a lot of the same reasons, Tim, you just said. I have Nebraska 23, Iowa 14. It's the exact same final score I had last week for the Wisconsin game. As I feel like I've said 100 billion times on this show, is I keep coming that close to getting my bold prediction correct. And it usually happens the next week where I got the prediction right, like the Tommy Hill pick six. I predicted pick six against UTEP, and he did it the next week against Colorado. There's like 5 or 6 examples all year of that, of Heinrich Harburg predicting him to have 5 carries for and 3 going for first downs against Ohio State. Well, it was Dylan Raiola doing exactly that, 5 carries for 2 first downs, and that third one that the ball spotting was suspect at best. But we don't need to get into that. We're a good vibes podcast right now. I see a low scoring game as well. I see sort of a grinded out. I mean, despite what we just saw the Nebraska offense look like against Wisconsin, I think what you guys just said would be more likely on God, I just did again on Friday when, like Steve says, Steve, you stepped on my toes, and I was going to set you up for the weather corner as our new meteorologist. 12 degrees by the time the sun goes down, so it's 25 high of 25, and then at night 12 degrees in Iowa City. Yeah, 12 degrees.
That's cold.
Only 8-mile-an-hour winds. So hey, there we go.
Might be able to throw it. I don't know how they're going to catch it, but you can throw it.
They're gonna break their hands off like old Brett Favre days of old, throwing bullets to him. But yeah, the line was, that's what the point total would suggest to 39.5 would suggest a low scoring game. Obviously went over last week with that unforeseen explosion in offensive points for Nebraska. But Steve, Tim, any last thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, it was talked about earlier on this pod, but getting over that hump, getting a 6th win, going to a bowl game for the first time since 2016. I saw a lot of some people not liking the field storm or the half field storm that Nebraska did, but I couldn't disagree more. Like, yes, that should have been a field storming moment. Absolutely. Just considering how awful it's been around here since 2016. Like, it's been very, very bad. The football has not been good. Of course, you celebrate that moment that you haven't been able to do for a long time. So, like, I didn't understand that at all. But now that you have, gotten that monkey off your back, now that you have solidified your place in the postseason, you're going to be getting 15 or whatever, how many practices that they get now to develop the young guys on the roster. You go out and you play fast, you play free, you have fun against a rival. You have nothing to worry about. Like, this is like, you are golden. You are headed to a bowl game. There's no black cloud hovering over the program right now. It is gone. Go out, have fun, beat the Hawkeyes. I think that's exactly what is going through the mind of the coaches and the players right now. And I don't care if you're stuck at 6 wins. Who gives a crap? Like, you got 6 wins. There has been noticeable progress in this football program. So go out, have fun.
You were so close, Steve, to saying one of my like pet peeves of a phrase. You have nothing to lose. It's like, well, you have nothing to lose except for the game. You said they have nothing to worry about. I was okay, cool. He saved it. Yeah,
you can lose to Iowa and like deal with that after effects, but like you can, like go out and have fun, fly around, hit. It's like you got the job done. As much as I hesitate to say that on camera with like 1 game left, like Matt Rule did it. Like, they are going to the postseason. They're going to get the benefits of that. I keep going back to the 15 extra practices. Those are going to be huge for a very young football team. So I hate to say it, but like, you got the job done. Go enjoy it and go play fast in a rivalry game.
Yeah, completely agree. And also, I say this too, like, if you end the season, if you told someone mid-season, even when they were like 5-4 or 5-3, that Nebraska was going to finish the season, whatever you want to think about year 1 of the Matt Rule era, they overperformed. And year 2, this is they're on track for what they do. And if you said in year 2 of Matt Rule's tenure, they beat Wisconsin, they beat Colorado, and they beat Iowa, and they had the same record as Iowa, I would many people be upset if you just told them those couple things? I don't think so. And I think, again, like Steve said, we've seen noticeable progress from this team. Win or lose on Saturday, I think you're going to see a looser team out there. I also think, because of the redshirt rule and all of that, I think you're going to see some Riley Van Poppel. I think you're going to see some guys in there that maybe haven't played a whole lot this year that Nebraska's been preserving for this type of game. This is the kind of game where you kind of sell out and you go all out because you have those extra 15 practices to recover. You have, a month or so to recover before your next bowl game. There's a lot on the line here. A lot of these guys, seniors and beyond, this might be the last time they play at Nebraska, and they want to win this game. So I'm really interested to see what type of Nebraska team we see, but I really think we're going to see one that's playing fast and one that's playing loose.
Yeah, I have a lot of extra thoughts on what each of you guys said, especially the field storming. I couldn't agree more with Steve on. There are a lot more things I that are on my mind that we'd all be in agreement on, I think, but I would just wind up rambling as I want to do for another like 5-10 minutes, and we want to get out of here. But to Tim's point about you could have the same final record as Iowa. I wrote about that on Wednesday morning. That guys can go check out at InsideNebraska.com. Like obviously, beating rival Iowa, having bragging rights, getting to 7 wins, those are all what makes this game important. But if you're looking for something else, if for whatever reason that disinterests you, or because Nebraska is now in a bowl game, like, okay, like we made it. If you just want one extra reason to be angry, happy, or everything in between on Friday when these two teams play, go read that article at InsideNebraska.com. It lays out some of the postseason ramifications for a win or a loss for Nebraska. I mean, could wind up be if you catch a loss, you might wind up going to New York City or another cold weather city for your bowl game. If you win, hey, hello, maybe Tampa, Nashville, who knows? Charlotte. Is Charlotte a cold weather city or warm weather city? I was trying to determine that while I was writing it, of all the bowl game potential. I'm like, is Nashville warm weather right now or cold weather? Like, I haven't looked at the radar, but I was like, wait, what is Charlotte, cold or warm? Steve, you're typing it right now. I can tell. You're looking.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. I don't know. It's
the
61
South,
degrees in there right now, but it's kind of like, yeah, like Tim said, it's kind of like right in the middle, and like I don't know what to go with there. It's 61 degrees right there right now, so maybe that tells you something.
Listen, I take 61. I take 61 right now.
Tim, are you not a cold weather fan?
Oh, I like the cold weather. It's just, if in the winter time when it's like as cold as it is up here, a little change of pace would be nice. A little 61 degrees,
Change of
be able to throw on just a light
Texas
sweater
boy
instead
right
of
there.
3 layers,
Yeah, I get it.
Were you born and raised in Texas and then you went to school at UNL?
I was born in Omaha technically, but I was raised in Texas. So the cold weather is not in my genes. It's just it's something I've adopted.
So you were born in Omaha, literally, not technically, right?
No, like literally, yeah, yes.
I always love calling people out like.
So I do say technically because I was born and then we lived there for 3 months and then we moved. So
okay.
I am from Omaha, but I was raised in Texas.
That's how I was born in Atlanta, suburb of Atlanta. If I'm trying to sound like a little cooler, I say Atlanta, but Marietta, Georgia. I was born there, lived there till I was 4. Like I have 2-3 memories from there, and then we moved to Central Illinois. So it's like I was born in near Atlanta, but I'm from Central Illinois. So let's not get twisted. But Steve, where are you from?
I'm born and bred Nebraska, baby.
That's damn right.
So the cold is in my bones. It doesn't bother me too much, I guess, but yeah, that's all I got.
That's all you got. That's all we got on this show. Again, we'll be out in full force in Iowa City, Kinnick Stadium. Again, encourage you guys to like this video, subscribe to the Inside Nebraska YouTube channel so you can get all of our post-game reaction videos and recruiting coverage and post-game press conference videos drop directly into your feed. Encourage you guys to visit InsideNebraska.com. Got a bunch of free and premium articles coming up. We're going to have a promo coming up for Black Friday, so be on the lookout for that here in the next couple days. So for Steve, Mark, and Tim Verghese, I'm Zack Carpenter. We'll catch you guys again next time.